I can't say that word. I was a failed photographer. Oh yes. I crashed and burned. I messed up big style. Now what I'm going to do here, having since been a successful photographer, is tell you the things I did differently, because I think they're universal for everybody who wants to make a living in photography. Don't make the mistakes I did. Just do this. It's much better. It's much nicer. And the last one is something I can't find any information on in YouTube. So because I'm playing the algorithm, we'll leave it till the end. Now the first one, and this is where I really messed up, and I think it comes from our parents, and that's having a plan B. For most of us, our parents want the best for us, and they're worried. When we come up with these harebrained ideas to be an artist, a creative, to do something which no one else really manages to understand, they start to get the fear. And I don't know if you're like me, but every plan I've had, professional classic musician, professional athlete, professional photographer, they're the sorts of professions that make parents wince. And my mother, bless her heart, and later on me, went, well, you better get a plan B in case it doesn't work. What are you going to do if it doesn't work? If it doesn't go to plan, what's your backup plan? Now, I wasted a lot of time on plan Bs, making sure I always had an extra plan and always had a backup. Now, granted, with music, I stopped before it really mattered, but with sport, I made sure I got a degree and a master's, just in case. And of course, I didn't become an athlete because I didn't spend enough time in it. With photography, when I failed at it, when I was a portrait and a commercial photographer, still focusing on people, I always made sure I was doing weddings, events, all the easy work, which you can just get money from, just in case. And because of that, I didn't make it. It wasn't until I went, do you know what? This is what I like. This is what I'm doing. If it doesn't work, I'll worry about it then. And I became a still life commercial photographer. I have a really great agent and we have a great career and everything's great. But I committed everything to it. So much so, I don't allow myself hobbies because I'm the sort of person that when he starts something goes, wow, started running couch to 5K, I reckon I could be in the elite marathon wave within 4 years. Obviously I can't, but my brain works that way, and before I know it, photography's gone. So the exclusive focus on photography is key. Now, something else I didn't do on my previous one, and it kind of contradicts this, but bear with me because they are different, is have side hustle / multiple streams of income. Now, what I did before I went wrong is I'm doing this and I'm doing this and none of them properly. What you need to do, what you need to be doing is finding multiple streams of revenue which you can fit in around being a photographer. I'm here on a Sunday because Monday to Saturday, I'm a photographer. Sunday, I am side hustling on my YouTube channel. This is my extra bit of income. Now, the reason this is so important is this here, between the workshops, the mentoring, the reviews of portfolios, the one-to-ones, all that jazz, and the YouTube revenue, my sponsors, who I'm very grateful for, all of that pays me enough money to get by. And it's so important. Trying to come up with original creative ideas when you're worried about money is impossible. I know, I've tried. Having that stability in the background means that you can really focus on the creativity. And the interesting thing is this. The better my side hustle does, financially, exclusively, we're just talking about money here, the better my photography does. As my YouTube channel grows, my photography income grows. And the two are not related marketing-wise at all. Nobody in the photography world knows I do this. This is just a YouTube thing. It's a different name and everything. But as I've got more brain space, I'm not going, oh, this invoice is 6 months late. What am I going to do? I'm just going, they'll pay it. It's fine. I've got money coming in. I can now go, what are we going to create next? What's the next thing that's going to make me stand out from my competitors so that I get the job? And I cannot tell you how important that is. Now, the third one is something which I came up with thanks to your comments, because the industry works in a very archaic way. It's not going to change. I've many times tried to change it when I was younger, or tried to do things because it's easier for me or it suits me or I want it to be this way. It won't be how you want it to be. Most big adverts happen in New York, London and Paris. You need to have an agent to get going. You need to know art buyers. All of these things are just the way they are. You will spend your entire career trying to change it to get nowhere because we are tiny little cogs. It's much easier to accept the way the industry works and adjust your behavior to it. I wasted so much time hoping the industry would change for me. Of course it won't. Who am I? Like, what do I matter? I've got to fit into how the industry works, whether that's pricing, marketing, location, whatever it is. I just have to go, that's how it is. Am I wanting to be involved in this? Yes, I am. Let's do that. Let's work with it. Of course, there are things I change. I make sure that every single shoot, we're not a room full of white men. On every single shoot, I make sure everybody's well paid. But I can't change the fact that the shoot's happening in London because that's where everyone is. I can't change the fact that if I want to go for a coffee with somebody to discuss my work, I've got to go to London. And every time I want to have a discussion, it costs me £200 on the train. That's just the way it is. It's not going to change. And that brings us through to the last one. And this is something I picked up having been a portrait photographer and then moving to food as where I am now, or food, drink, still life, whatever we want to call it. I went into the portrait side of stuff, my failed business. I went into that as an artist. I was at the parties. I was drinking the drinking. I was doing all the things that you do at parties. I was having a good time. I was not being successful though. And what I do now is I treat my work like sport. Now bear with me if you're not sporty, but the way it used to work in cycling for me was you'd have your 3 main objectives for the year and you'd taper your training up towards it. I have my 3 key objectives for the year and I taper my test shoots up towards it. My entire year is planned out in advance for the 3 main goals. That's what we're working on at any given point. And then in between that, so when we get to the first third of the year, I go, right, there's the goal at the end of this first third. What do I need to achieve each week to get to that? What do I need to achieve each day in the first week? And then we just week on week, we move it along. Now, the reason I do 3 now and not 4 like I used to is because too many things get in the way and it's just not possible. But this way it's more realistic. So my last goal of the year is I need to be creating some more TVC style video work. I've got from now until the end of January, because no one's around in January anyway, and I've got a plan of action of what I need to do. And it starts with working out what within my style would be commercially viable. Then it'll be working out how will I achieve this. Then it will be executing this. And then it will be getting in, as I go. I won't bore you with it, but that's how I treat it now. And the difference is huge. This has one of the biggest impacts on becoming a professional photographer. I hope you enjoy this. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.